afraid that she's gonna pull this little tree down. Even though she looks like a little dog, she's really very strong. So she might pull the tree down. So I'm thinking I'm gonna replace this leash with a fence.
A fence?
Yeah, I want to replace it with a fence. I'm going to take the area that she has already with this leash, this 5-meter length, and I need to figure out how much fence I'm going to buy. That's the only problem, is I don't know which length of fence to buy. I don't know if I should buy 10 feet of fence, if that'll be enough, 15 feet of fence, 20 feet of fence, 25, 30, 35. I have no idea how much fence I need to buy to enclose this area. Do you think you can help me?
Yeah, I think I can help you.
So here's a circle that has a radius of 5 meters. You can see the tree is in the middle, and then Athena runs along the outside. So here's all the area that she has to play. Yeah, kids, you learned earlier in the year that all circles have a center point, and every point on the outside is equidistant to the center. That means the same distance to the center. You retained a lot from the 6th grade. Now you're going to use your tape measure to collect data on your circles. You should have gotten some circles from your kitchen area. I've gotten some circles from my kitchen area. What do you think you're going to measure on each circle? Be sure to record your data in an organized way. Hey you, are you measuring your circles?
Let me do the radius first. It's 7. No, it's not 7. It's 6.5 cm.
Fantastic.
And the diameter is, it's not, is,
well, if the radius is 6.5, then what is the diameter going to be?
13.
Okay.
So that thing is measure the circumference.
Now while you is measuring her circles, you should be at home measuring your circles. You should first start with the radius like you did, then measure the diameter like you did, and then measure the circumference like you did. And remember, we don't have naked numbers, so your numbers have to have a unit. Whether you use inches, centimeters, feet, whatever you use, your measurements should have a unit. We're using centimeters, as you can see. So now we have a big circle, you.
Yeah, big circle.
Okay, so what is its radius?
It's about 24.5 cm.
Okay, so by now we know if the radius is 24.5 centimeters, the diameter is going to be... You.
49?
Yes. Yes, the diameter is going to be 49 centimeters. Let's measure the circumference. Now, before we measure the circumference, let's take a break and let's think. Look at the patterns in our data table. Our first circle had a radius of 9.5 centimeters, a diameter of 19 centimeters, and a circumference of 61 centimeters. Our second circle example had a radius of 6.5 centimeters, a diameter of 13 centimeters, and a circumference of 40.5 centimeters. Now our third example circle, which is much bigger, has a radius of 24.5 centimeters, a diameter of 49 centimeters, and we haven't measured the circumference yet, but what do you think it would be? Do you see any patterns in your circle? Now you is getting ready to measure the circumference of her circle to see if it's around 150. She said she thinks it's 150 centimeters. Do you agree or disagree? Okay. So looking at the patterns that are in your data table.
Yes, I noticed that the circumference is a little more than 3 times the diameter for each of my circle. So look at this one, the circle is 19. So the circumference should be 61. It's more than 3 times.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and so I think this one maybe should 150 cm.
Let's see. Now we're going to measure and let's see if your hypothesis is correct. So what is the circumference of this bigger circle?
Oh, it's almost 160. So.
Almost 160 centimeters. So was your guesstimate close to the correct answer?
Yeah, I think it should be more than 3 times.
Oh, so it's not exactly 3 times.
Yes, not exactly 3 times. It's more than 3 times.
Oh, do you know what the number is that you just discovered? That number is called pi. The ratio of circumference to diameter of any circle is pi. Let me show you an example of pi. So as you discovered, the circumference equals pi times the diameter. Or you could also say it as pi is the circumference divided by the diameter, which you discovered is not just 3, it's a little more than 3. And the actual number value is 3.1415 ... It goes on and on and on forever. But most mathematicians, for practical purposes, just round it off to 3.14. And I'm sure you can see on your circles and on your examples that your ratio of circumference to diameter was 3.14 approximately, depending on how accurately you measure.
So this is the final result I gave Lori is 10 meters times pi equals 31.4 meters fence needed.
Okay, so kids, today you learned 7th grade Common Core State Standard for Mathematics, Geometry Standard number 4. You learned how to find the circumference of a circle. And you also learned how the circumference formula was derived. So not only do you know it, you know where pi came from and what it means. You are a mathematician. Yay! Pop quiz. Time for a pop quiz. Number 1. Write down your answers, of course. What is the formula for finding the circumference of a circle? Number 2. Pi is the ratio of blank to blank. Number 3. If the diameter of a circle is 6 yards, the circumference is about, and you don't have to get out a calculator, you can just estimate in your head. I don't need an exact answer, feel free to just estimate. Number 4, if the radius is 20 feet, the circumference is about blank. Again, you don't need to get out a calculator. I want you to just estimate and answer in your head. Record your answers on a piece of paper. Number 1, circumference equals pi times diameter, or you could have also written circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius. As you know, in multiplication, order doesn't matter. So if you change the order in the formula, that's absolutely fine. Number 2 was our critically thinking question. The answer was not directly stated in the video. It was an answer that you should have inferred from all the information that was given. Pi is the ratio of circumference to diameter, or pi equals circumference over diameter. So we told you that, we discovered that pi equals circumference divided by diameter, but you should have inferred that it is also, that means that it is the ratio of circumference to diameter. First question that you had to do some calculations in your head, some mental math. You should have had about 19 yards. So if you'll notice, 6 yards in diameter times 3.14, or you could have estimated in your head times 3. 6 times 3 is 18 plus a little more, because we know that pi is a little more than 3, gives us 19. For number 4, we also did that one in our head, or we could have. If the radius is 20, we know that the diameter has to be 40 feet. And we know 40 feet times 3 is 120. And if we add a little bit extra, we know because pi is greater than 3, it's not exactly 3, then we know that the circumference is going to be about 126 feet. So you have 4 questions on your pop quiz. If you were able to answer at least 3 of them successfully, you've done a great job. You can continue. Now, if you weren't able to answer at least 3 of these 4 questions successfully, you probably should rewatch the video and ask your teacher for some additional questions. Thank you so much for watching our video, and Athena thanks you because now she's going to have a fence for her yard.